Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, folks. It's your man, always Joy Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, today is Monday. It's another. Can you believe it? We got maybe one more week left of October, and then it won't be long for it's Halloween. Halloween's right around the corner. So yesterday I did a live stream where we had got together with some people and talked about the Olympia. So this is another live stream where for our Muscle Talk Monday, episode 209. We get together and we talk about the Olympia again. Give them a little more detail, get some perspectives. It's great to talk about the show. It was a great show. It was a great event. I mean, I am so happy, especially for my girl, my woman, and you know who she is, the lovely Miss Andrea MacArthur. I'm sorry, Andrea Shaw. And I congratulate her again. She put up a great show, great performance. She looked amazing. So, folks, as you know, I have some of my usual suspects here. I will bring them in, and we'll welcome him. We have my man, my big brother. He made his return about a month ago to the world of bodybuilding. It's my man, Mr. Big Keith Williams, aka Scuba Steve, aka Black Hulk Hogan, aka I'm not gonna pick it anymore about the Andrea thing, but if it happens again, you might have a problem. Also, we have as a lovely we had here for a long time. She just competed just also about a month ago. The lovely Mrs. Lori A. Connolly. Yeah, hello. Yeah, she's wearing a nice top on, guys. Okay, you guys, you know the rules. You know the rules. So welcome, folks. Thank you for your time. Thank you for you coming on here. And y'all watched Olympia. Lori, you were there. We'll get to you because ladies first. What was that?
No,
Like?
I didn't. I didn't go. I stayed home and trained. I'm one of those
Oh,
girls. I got in my off season. It was leg day. Just got right back into it. I'm not messing
yeah,
around, right?
yeah.
Um,
But did you
no,
watch
but I
the?
watched. I
Yeah,
definitely watched, and it was a good show. It was it was definitely. There was a lot of surprises for sure, and I'm really happy for Samson Dowda too. That was freaking epic.
yeah.
What a
Yeah.
what a great
As you
appearance.
know, a new Mr. Olympia. As you know, Derek Lungfoot took third, Heidi took second, and Sampson won the title. The guy who had a lot of steam, was doing pretty good last year. I think he was top five the last show, and Derek won the show, and then he just come in best condition. Yeah, but guys, I don't follow the guys like that. But my man, Big Keith, he knows the deal. That he watched it. And also he's a judge, and we've been talking back and forth. We do know everybody was like on this shit like Andrea is not gonna. No. We know our shit. We know our girl. We knew she was gonna come in, locked and loaded, and she did. Like I was watching Bob Chicolo say, like she went like Rocky in Rocky 4 and kind of hit herself off, and it came in. Like she look at it. She probably climbed the mountain and says, "Angela, Angela."
Facts,
Yeah,
facts.
yeah.
She
But
knew
they
what she
had,
had to do. She knew she was
Yeah, she
off.
did. She's
Clearly
not
it
one
was.
of those girls who's just gonna sit up there and let someone else. When she has a goal to win 8 Olympias, she's not just gonna be like, you know, she was gunning for that show. It's like she was gonna bring it, no matter what changes she needed to make, and she made them, man. She looked incredible, for sure. Probably some of the best conditioning I've seen in the last 2 years on
So
her.
I mean, clearly it was a coaching change. Being made by her.
Big
But
changes and the courage to make those changes too, because I kind of know her coaching background a little bit, so like the courage to make those changes and to know what needed to be done, and to make it happen, and just to show you that you can make those changes in a certain amount of time,
okay.
right?
Yeah. Well, folks, I have some more guests here. We have here our man, Raheem Hamilton. He's on board. Raheem. Also, we have here our usual suspect, my brother, Mr. Jeremy. Shout out to brother. And also, we had a man here, and I told him, he's been having his hands on my girls. And that's my man, David Bryant from Field Bob and Forum. Yo, David, I've been seeing you have your hand on my girls. What's your deal, man? What's your deal? So David's
Yeah,
in
that's
Florida.
my deal, man.
Yeah, David was there with boots on the ground. Shout out to David, great guy. I'm a fan of his. I love him. He's been going through something right there. He's back home in Tampa, and brother, my heart goes out to you down there. I mean, it's tough. I wish you all the best and your recovery and whatever you like. So whatever you need from me, let me know, brother.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm still without power at home, and there's another storm system maybe expected to head this way, so I'm not going to take down the boards for my windows quite yet. Yeah, it's coming from the Atlantic this time. So, but yeah, it's a little crazy around here. There's just a lot of trees down and a lot of craziness. Fortunately, we're out of where I live. I'm out of the flood zone, but the flood zone is the worst part of all. But no, I'm doing good. I'm really pleased to make it out to the Olympia, and I had a real challenge getting there because Tampa Airport was closed, and I had to drive, I guess, 4 hours to Fort Lauderdale to fly out.
Oh
so
my God.
that was just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Tampa and Orlando airports were all closed, and it just was crazy. I was like, how am I going to get there? But finally figured it out. So yeah.
It's funny that you said that because there's a lot of athletes who actually live in Tampa who are making appearances and things, and they were like, everybody was like locked in, like they didn't know if they were going to make it or not. So yeah, that was kind of an adventure for a lot of the athletes out there.
Which is crazy because
it was very stressful.
I was supposed to compete this weekend in St. Petersburg, and I canceled my trip because I'm like, dude. And Tim said the show's still going on, but I just pushed back. I'm probably gonna do something in November just because it's so crazy out there right now. I don't know how he's gonna put that show on this weekend, that Hurricane Classic. It should be interesting.
I would say you do it at your own risk, but you know what? It's smart to just go ahead, change the date, push it back. Maybe November be better. You can just tell everybody, hey, because it's coming. We're just gonna push it back.
Yeah, because my boy, Bruce is going out there. I told Bruce, I'm like, we're gonna do the show together, and I said, Bruce, I'm not going, so he's still going, but I just changed my mind, and I'll just wait till November. So.
Well, shout out to Master Bruce. I hope he does well. So anyway, folks, I like to get because David, you were there. What was that experience like being there, surrounded with all of this top level competitors, the biggest show in the sport of bodybuilding? You did a lot of talking, some conversations. You got to do little interviews here and there. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was terrific. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really nice to get to meet the athletes and meet the fans. And that was my first time being at a Vegas Olympia. I'd been to two of the ones in Orlando, and I don't know, it's more dynamic in Vegas. I think more fun and just so much cool stuff to see down there too. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a little bit weird because I felt guilty for like missing out on the hurricane too. So I was like, had like half my brain like back here in Tampa. But yeah, it was a great experience for sure. And definitely met a lot of great athletes, not just ladies competing, but ladies who were there, as part of the booths or as part of a sponsor appearance and stuff. So yeah, it was good. Oh, I think you're muted, George.
George, you're muted.
Oh,
there you go.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Anyway, I'm going to do this, folks. I'm going to jump to my man's David's Female Body Forum IG. And if you're interested in following him, I'm going to leave the link in the comment section. You can follow him, support him. He's growing. Also, you can go check his YouTube channel. The links is in the bio. And he put some pretty good stuff here. Like I said, he was there with boots on the ground. And, and shout out to the work he put in, the time he put in. A lot of people, he ran into some, like one here, you see right here, he ran into Denise Hoshard. And you remember her, she competed.
Oh my goodness, okay.
I mean, she still look good. I mean, I think she retired around about 2003, 2004, I believe. Try to remember. I know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And, she looks pretty good. I see some pictures of her here and there. She actually still can think about competing. Also, he's here with Janetta Johansson, as they call her, the small Swede. And also, he's here with her friend, the big Swede herself, Irene Anderson, the big Swede. I mean,
yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And also here,
she's awesome.
Yeah, and and this is where I had a little problem with you, David. And this is Christina Dresco. Christina's one of my girls. I interviewed her, and I see your hand in your arm. I mean, what you doing with what you doing, David? I mean, I understand. I mean. Christina's a nice lady. I mean, but you didn't have to put your hands on her arm. Man, I mean, whenever I talk to these girls, they become mine. They're my girls. You know,
George,
like Roy's my
George,
girl.
George,
How many
I've
girls
said
you
You
got?
got to share
We all
them.
call you the Hugh
Right.
Hefner of women's bodybuilding. How many girls you got, bro?
right.
I got all the girls, man. I got them all. Call me Superfly.
George, I have said it before. I'll said it before. I'll say it again. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, brother. Don't say.
Yeah,
Don't say.
that's
Don't hate
right.
the player,
Yeah.
hate the game.
You can hate the player. You can hate the damn game. That's what you're supposed to say. Not just hate the player. Hate the damn game. That's what you're supposed to do. And also, he's here with Missy Trescott. And Missy, I mean, you know, what happened to her last year,
Right.
and then the comeback from that injury. I mean, I think with I didn't watch all the routine and stuff like that. I see some stuff here and there, but she looked really good. I mean, she came in. Now she
Yeah.
has 3 Miss Olympia fitness titles. I mean, and just what she went through. I mean, I got to respect for that.
Yeah, I saw her compete last year at the Olympia, and it was just sad to see, like live on stage, her getting like severely injured. And I was like, oh my God. But to see her triumph and come back was great. So it was amazing. Oh yeah, that was Angie Yo. She had a really long line, and I don't like long lines, so I didn't wait. I just got a little side shot over there. But she looked great though.
Her arms are crazy. I mean, it's one thing we see raised up and close and personal. Then he also there's Nadia Soto. She looks lovely. This is the best showing she had since she did the Olympia, taking 4th place. So but still she has to compete. I think she's gonna do the remaining Muscle Fest. Also, I know David. He interviewed Zala Benta a while back, and I was kind of surprised that she took 5th. At one point, I thought she was going to be 6th, and I thought Janetta was going to be 5th from the prejudging, but then they changed it, and she got 5th place. I mean,
Yeah,
anybody you
she
feel
got
like
third
that?
last year, and she still looks really good.
Yeah, but you feel like the thing is that you feel like she might have came in short of a condition like she was last year.
Yeah, that could be why she got kind of bumped down a bit. But she's amazing though. She's so beautiful too.
Yeah, she's good. And here's also with Natalie Ray Wolf, another lady had pleasure interviewing on my channel. She's also one of my girls. So, but you need to put your hands on her. So cool, David. She looked great. I mean, this is her first Olympia. She competed for 20 years. Finally got there, and I think she looked amazing.
Yep, she cracked top 10.
She's stunning.
She cracked top 10. I said she was going to do pretty
Yeah,
good.
she did.
So,
yeah. And another lady that me, Dave, have in common, but she's my girl first, because I had her first, is the beautiful Marika Jones. And I'm telling her, her back is just crazy. I mean, this debate that she might, I don't know, she might could do well in women's bodybuilding. Plus that, she has those aesthetics like Andrea, great back, great division, very attractive. I think she probably could do well in the division.
She's
also,
so nice too. She's really stunning in person. Yeah.
Yeah. Also here is number 3, Ashley Jones, women's bodybuilding. Ashley, she looked great. Just if she just came in just a little bit better condition, I think she could have pushed out Angela for 2nd place.
Mm.
And she's so sweet too. She's like one of the nicest people. Geez, such a sweetie.
I got an from Lori. What's on your mind, Lori?
Oh, nothing. I just think it would. Yeah, I love her physique. Her physique is phenomenal. I love the way she's shaped and her build. And I just I just think a little bit better conditioning, but it would have been hard to push Io out of that spot.
Yeah. And here you go, David. You got to handle one of my girls. This is one of my other girls, David. This is Tracy.
Tracy.
Yo, David. Yo, she's been. I mean, I love you, David. But we got one thing. We got to be up, man. We got to have a long conversation. But she looked great. Top 10 also at the show. Great physique. Great.
Oh yeah, no, Tracy is amazing, and she's like the most positive person I've ever met. She just and high energy too. She's really great. Amazing physique. I think she just needed to be a little bit more conditioned to place higher, but 10th place for Olympia, that was terrific.
Yeah, it was the first show she had come from Australia. Also, we have here, Teresa Vasic, and it might be talks that she might be. This might be her last ride. Y'all think that, or y'all just what's y'all opinion on it?
Well, she says that. I think she says that. She said that a couple times. But when you put that much time and money into a show, and you're constantly kind of grinding, and she's got so much other stuff going on too that's positive stuff. So I could see where she would want to maybe do, go down some other avenues. But it's one of those things where you kind of get home, you start training, and then you're just like, maybe I'll do one more show. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that type of thinking.
Mhm. And we talked about earlier about Christina Mendoza, very appealing, very attractive lady. I think she was somebody said she was better in condition in Tampa compared to the Olympia, but she got sixth place. Was it six? Yeah. So, that's pretty good.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. For your first Olympia, she's
Oh
just
yeah.
shy of getting the top five. I
And she's
mean,
got amazing aesthetics too, and she's got time on
Yeah.
her side too. So to get six and then have that much time to be able to build, to even improve. I mean, I'm really excited to see what the future has to hold for her.
yeah. And here
Yeah.
he's
Her
with,
posing is kind of perfect.
yeah, with Hella Trevino.
Oh,
I
with
mean,
Helen.
Hella,
Yeah.
she just looked really good at first. At first, I didn't show who it was at first till I got a good look because she's cut her hair now, but she got on the wig and everything. She looks really good. She did pretty good. Some might say fourth might be a little too high, but you gotta know she's been competing for long as she has. She's truthfully one of the last true female bodybuilders at the Olympia. There's not that many anymore that started in bodybuilding and still in bodybuilding. Everybody else either came from physique, like Ashley, she was physique for a long time, but then she went to physique and then she went to women's bodybuilding. Andrea started in figure and she went to physique, then women's bodybuilding. Sherry was also physique at one point, then went to women's bodybuilding. But I'm a fan of hers, being that she's the last of the true female bodybuilders. There's no one else other than Irene and maybe a couple others, but generally she's the last of the true female bodybuilders. And shout out also to Gina Calvario, who I had before as a guest. And he got to even talk to Hunter Henderson here. So we're gonna pull it up here.
Hey, this is David
Yeah.
from FBB Forum, and I just ran into Hunter Henderson, the amazing IFBB Pro women's bodybuilding competitor, and her first Olympia was yesterday. So how was the Olympia experience?
Amazing. Like, even before I stepped on stage, the whole process was just greater than I could have ever imagined. You dream about this day, and when it finally gets in, you see the lights, you see the people, and you're backstage, it was surreal. It was exhilarating. It was gratifying. It was an incredible experience.
That's terrific. You look fantastic up there. You really did. And you're kind of establishing yourself with the judges too. So
Absolutely. So I primarily powerlift. But I do plan on staying in bodybuilding.
That's terrific. Yes. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. The judges are going to get to know me very well.
That's terrific. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, no, that's terrific.
Yeah.
I know you're friends with Brianna. She's here too?
Yeah, she's walking around here somewhere too. She's getting ready for a competition of powerlifting.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are you still going to do powerlifting?
No. I will incorporate some powerlifting movements. But I will be focusing primarily on growing size overall, whole body. Mainly focusing on arms. I already have some pretty big legs.
Oh, you already got big legs?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're going to grow for a bit and then maybe shoot for the 2025 Olympia.
That's awesome. Very cool. That's very cool.
Thank you.
Would you mind doing a quick bicep flex and maybe back too?
Yeah, just one, or you want me to
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool too. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, you look great. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing, Hunter. You're looking great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, she's still young. I think she's not even 30 yet. She has so much potential to grow and develop. Also, he ran into a lot of ladies here and there, and he also ran into one lady who possibly, I think she has a future in women's bodybuilding, and that is just
For him, and I'm very pleased to meet in person a very awesome women's physique competitor named Jess Falborn. You are doing women's physique, right?
Still women's physique.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep, still women's physique. No thoughts on changing yet.
Very awesome. Yeah. How are you enjoying the Olympias so far?
If you can't tell from my no voice, I've had a great time so far. I've been here with my crew, supporting our very good friend Sean Clarita, who continued to hold on to second best in the world in the 212 division last night. So we're super happy for him. I'm also here working with my sponsor. One of my sponsors, BioThrive. They do oral BPC 157 and TB4 frag peptides. So I'll be at their booth today from 3 to 5 p.m. if you guys mind. And then just checking out all the competition, the great expo, the different companies and brands, and saying hello to some friends.
Great. Did you see women's physique last night and women's bodybuilding?
I did. Actually, I felt like women's bodybuilding was a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
As a women's physique competitor, I didn't really feel like our lineup was that deep and exciting this year. And maybe some people disagree with me, but that was my feeling. I knew that Sarah was going to be when she came out and pre-judging, but I liked that we saw, I think it was a Barbara took third, so it was nice to see.
No, Sharonica got third.
Oh, Sharonica, that's right. It was nice to see Sharonica got third, and Zelma still stay in that top 5.
Yeah.
But I knew it was the Sarah show, and then I really honestly thought in women's bodybuilding that Angie Leo was going to take it.
Yeah.
But it was very cool to see that Andrea, she talked about at the press conference how she put in her time for the last 7 weeks and stayed in Arizona after the winter strength. And it just goes to show what setting your mind to something and blocking out all the distractions can really do.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, Angie did look amazing. But I thought Andrea just brought the next level package this time and improved from Rising Phoenix, which is impressive. So yeah, no, I wasn't surprised that Andrea won that one. That was impressive.
It was great.
Yeah. I guess one of the biggest surprises, I thought Sherry would get in top 5. And
I honestly, when I didn't see Sherry in top 5, I don't understand. I think she has a beautiful physique. I think she brings a lot of femininity. She had great conditioning. I was really puzzled by that.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, sometimes there are decisions that the judges make that we really don't see, even if we have more trained eyes than the average.
Yeah. I got you. I understand. Yeah, very cool. So do we know when you're going to compete again, or do you know?
I don't have any plans. I just finished up I always do long health phases after I compete, so I just wrapped up my health phase. The nice thing about my physique is I put on muscle very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't have to put on any more muscle, so my off seasons aren't these big pushes to put on size. It's more just staying clean and healthy, so that we have a really good starting point if and when we decide to cut and prep again. So,
okay.
So I do know that I'll be going through an off season for the rest of the year, and then if we decide to cut, the beginning of the year might be a good time to start doing the prep. But I'm honestly not in any rush because I do really want the next time I step on the stage to be up to my
Great. You look amazing right now.
Thank you. I'm embracing the off season look and feel.
So you look great. Thank you. We might do a flex for me?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Didn't lose it. Still got it.
You still got it. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jeff.
Well, she's a nice young lady. I hope she does well. I think she's on the shorter side, kind of like Michaela, a couple other girls. But if she brings in a condition and brings a great level of muscle, I think she would do well. So as we were saying, everybody looked pretty good, and it was obvious we knew that Andrea is going to win. But then we go over to the physique division. One thing I think. Big thing was that Natalia did not come in conditioning like she used to. Looked like she lost some size, especially around the legs. Everybody get that feeling too?
Okay, I'll just chime in. I love Natalia's look. I think she has an excellent look, and I think the judges were definitely splitting some hairs on that one because both of their physiques are so phenomenal, but in different ways. I would really love to see the scorecards on how they judge them, just personally, because I like Natalia too, man. Her legs to me didn't look small. She didn't look small. If you saw her from the side and watched her hamstrings and her glutes, I mean, she was definitely bringing in, her conditioning and her size for physique. I think was perfect. Yeah, it's definitely a battle between those two all the time, and I'd love to see the hairs that the judges split with those two. Like, see that. But I would love to hear those conversations.
Yeah, I agree. I think I personally think Natalia's body flows better than Sarah's. That's what bodies flow, and I mean, like Lori said, it's like splitting hairs, but Natalia's body just flows better than Sarah's. But I mean, it's in our world of bodybuilding, and Lori hear this, know this word too, because kind of comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, but
And
I
so
exactly, you nailed it when you said that. Her body flows. Like, when she goes from the front to the side,
yep,
everything, it's just fucking, it looks nice. Like,
yes,
I
it's
didn't
a
see any,
great
I
balance.
didn't think she lost any leg size. And I
No,
think, honestly, you get, if they're keeping within the physique parameters, then you don't want, like, they're supposed to be a little bit smaller than a bodybuilder, So I think she's actually carrying just the appropriate amount of size. Um, and she does. She just has a beautiful physique. Her abs are like perfect. Just she turns around, she looks.
yeah,
No,
balance
but
is
like I
Yeah.
said, with both of them, they have such different physiques. In a lot of times, what I've noticed in the judging this year, it's like you really need to know your judges and what your judges want, and because
Mhm.
it kind of it seems like it's what that judging panel wants. Like, I just
Yeah.
noticed even in the bodybuilding, the most shredded girls did not win.
well,
There was a combination of fullness, I feel like, and conditioning that they were looking for. You know what I mean? So they didn't want the super shredded girls. They kind of wanted the full muscle bellies with really good conditioning. There was like this balance that I feel like they were jockeying with, and that they've been jockeying with all year with us, kind of.
well, and George, we talked about this, and I was this year. I was up at Andrea and John's gym, and basically Andrea said, Sandy said to her, "Come in the same way you did last year. Maybe a little bit sharper because she was probably a little bit off at the worlds, and come in a little bit sharper." And when again, like I said, if Sandy, who head judges the women's classes, tells you that, you stick to the goddamn plan. You do not change the
Yeah,
plan
yeah. You come in a
because
little sharper, right?
yeah, yeah. She came in
Exactly.
a
You,
little
you
bit
listen
sharper.
exactly what she says.
And she did exactly what she did. Clearly, she made a coach's change. And at the end of the day, here's the thing: she was just so much bigger than Angela. Yo, she was just bigger. I mean, shoulders.
She dwarfed
I
her.
mean,
Just say it. She
she
dwarfed her.
just dwarfed her.
She
It's
made her
it's
look
kind of like
small.
look. It's kind of like looking at Samson and Derek. I mean, you have this giant who had this tiny waist, this huge guy compared to these two little Smurfs. You know, and that's the way it boiled down to. And so at the end of the day, her hamstrings were fuller, her muscle bellies were fuller. She had enough conditioning that the and like I told George earlier, what people don't understand is when you're looking at that as a competitor, it's the balance and the beauty of what Andrea Shaw brings to the table that they're looking for. It's not too
Mhm.
hardcore, it's enough, and it's just pretty. When you look at her and Samson, and you look at Chris Bumstead, it's just pretty to look at. You
Exactly.
can't
At the end of
Mhm.
the day, you have to have a physique that everyone wants to look at.
exactly.
And
Mhm.
also, I've never seen her glutes in that condition before. Like, her glutes, like, she usually has a very full glute, which I like. I'm not really into the walnut girl butt. I just think that it's not like a, I like a full glute, like almost like a wellness glute but shredded. That's what I kind of aim for when I'm doing my conditioning. You know what I mean? I don't want to be hollowed out. I don't want to be saggy. I want full with some feathering, that kind of look. And that's the first time I've seen it on her, where she just really brought in that fucking little bit of dent on the side. The top was perfect. Just, I don't think I've seen her that conditioned from the back before.
Well, we have some comments here. This is from my man, Shot Hill, Warrior 2000. He says, "Well, here we go again." Yeah, here we go again. Also, this is from my man, Money J 2024. He says, um, "What's up, y'all?" Yeah. Also, my brother KL the Wanderer. He says, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, brother?" Also, we have here Warrior. He says, "Hey, Raheem, since your girl, the tag cover level, wasn't competing this year at the 60th Olympia for some unknown reason,
I
what's
knew
your
it was
thing
coming.
for
I knew it was
game plan
coming.
for is for next year?" No, Warrior always thinking.
Here we go. Round one begins.
Where Raheem, you've been kind of quiet. We want to hear from you. I mean, you hear, you jumped in, you want to take part. Come on, we got to hear you speak. Come on, son.
Don't be quiet now.
Yeah.
I was just letting everybody speak. I don't interrupt. I'm a gentleman. I don't jump in when people are talking. Yeah.
All right.
I give
But
you at a
what's your
table.
Yeah, but what's your thoughts, Raheem? Did you watch the show, or or you watch the
I
contest? You watch
I
the
saw a little bit of it on Instagram. I was very impressed with the production. I was the production value was very impressive. Um, well, like you said, your girl, she won 5 times. That's congratulations to her winning her fifth. Um, it was it was very good show. A lot of people seem to came out to the show. No, it had that. Like I said, it was very impressive what I saw with the production and everything. I think, like I said, at the end of the day, when we discussed last time, uh, that being a sport, bodybuilding being a sport. I mean, you have the production value there, and you have great athletes there representing the sports, and just continue on doing what y'all do. My hats off to y'all because this is a sport that is not easy. Nobody can just get off the couch and get big like that. It does take training and everything. And like Keith says, not about the supplements. It's about the training and the dieting. And I have to give my hats off to all the ladies and gentlemen who compete in that show. And like I said, I'm very impressed with the production and everything.
Yeah, it was a pretty good production. Here, this is from my man Money J. He says, Andrea Shaw is your girl, George. You tripping over these other women. Hey, they're my women. Anybody's my woman. Andrea's my main girl. But you know how it is. This is from KL. He says this. He says, but guys, one thing I don't mean no disrespect to you, David. No D pick. Stop it. Oh man, stop that. You know what?
No D picks. Dang it. No, just kidding.
Also, this is from Money J. Says Missy is awesome, a beast competing. Yeah. Also, he says Zama will be better next year. Mark my words. And also, he says this. He says Christina Mendoza is the future star too. And also, my man KL says Natalia got me turning into a wolf. Hey man. So and also this is from my man Warrior says, George, no, now all of a sudden you are the pimp daddy of the Bible community. Yeah, call me the pimp. Call me, Silky Johnson.
I was gonna say, George, with all these other girls, you do know that harems are illegal, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be. I mean, come on, man.
Well, hey, when things are going down, if you don't care, they don't care. This is from a Warrior says, George, you the Godfather from WWF. Yeah, I used to love that, as a kid. But yeah, it was a pretty. I mean, some people said they had issues with the lighting and stuff like that, but you got to think about this: the biggest event, depending where you're seating it, because they were already sold out of tickets by I think a month before the show started, and if you wasn't in front view, even in the cheap seats, but it was a great show. I know we talked about how, again, with Sarah being the champion, now, we think that this and we talk about it changes the look of the division. She's now 4-time champion. That means she ties with Julie McCartney. So there's nothing she needs to change, or she thinks she's just, or like especially Natalia, what can she do? Because it's just.
It's.
I was curious what y'all think about. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious. Like Sarah is getting so big. I almost wonder if she's like going to move up to women's bodybuilding. I know she loves being women's physique Olympia champ, and I think she looks terrific. But yeah, she's really getting big. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
I doubt she
Here's
will.
the thing. I think it'll be one of those things where her and Natalia will stay in that division and become like a Jay and Ronnie when Jay was chasing after Ronnie for all those years. And
Yeah.
and you're right, she can't get any bigger. She can't. So it's a thing that again with Andrea Shaw talks to Sandy, and Sandy sits there and says, "Hey, don't change what you're doing. You don't need to get any bigger. You're just come inconsistent." And I think, by her telling her that, which I hope she did, that it'll be an epic battle for years to come between those two. But neither one of them
Mhm.
can get any bigger because then they're going to have to move. And I don't think, looking at, Angela Yo and looking at Andrea Shaw and looking at Ashley and looking at those top 5 girls, you know, the one girl that probably we won't see much of anymore is Helena, and somebody else is sliding to that spot. But again, maybe Christina Mendoza. We can look at these girls right now and sit there and say they can move up. But it's great to say that, but when you put them in a crowd of women bodybuilders, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. That's
Yeah.
like people for years sitting there saying, "Well, should Chris Bumstead move up to men's open bodybuilding?" Hell no. He know his lane. Keon just made the announcement. The 212 champion says, "I am staying at 212." Guys like Derek and guys like Hade, who are 212 guys, moved up. But people have to understand the aesthetics of this all. When you're so tall and you're in their build and their stature, they only have so much max potential to grow. Hadi and especially Derek are maxed out. And I remember Charles Glass once telling me this when I first met him, getting in the body. I'm like, man, I want to be so much like Phil Heath. And he said, why? He said, because his max growing potential compared to like a Ronnie Coleman or a taller guy is only so much. Where this guy Samson Dua, who's a national champion, or Andrew Jack, who was I think 5th place, these guys are 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot tall. Their growth potential is huge because of how tall they are and
They
their
have more
bone density.
frame.
And their bone density.
Mhm.
People understand when you're looking at bodybuilders in essence, you're looking at, and Charles taught me this, Glass taught me this, who was the godfather of bodybuilding, bone density matters. And it tells you your potential to grow into a sport. And if you look at in the last 3 years what Samson Dua has done, and even Andrew Jack for that reason, a matter has done, because these are two taller guys, this is the future of bodybuilding based off of aesthetics and bone structure.
Hmm. Like, for example, like how big Rami, how big he is. Now he was dominant for so while, but now he's taking a step back because he's dealing with some illness and stuff like that. Or when the year Ronnie won, it's a big difference between like you look at Ronnie Coleman or Dorian Yates or Lee Haney to Arnold Schwarzenegger to Frank Zane to all those guys that were coming up over the years, and the Phil Heaths and all those other guys. I mean, the sport is evolving, and like I say, with the men, they get that little leeway where they can evolve, but the women they
Well,
don't. They
and,
have
and,
to
and
stick
here's
to
the
the race.
thing. When you say that, George, you have to look at it this way. Andrea Shaw is probably an inch or 2 inches taller than Angela Yo, right? So
Hmm.
again,
Mhm.
there's that factor where Andrea Shaw can do certain things that Andrea Yo can't do in order to make her frame, because as you're a shorter person, if you start doing some of the things to get bigger, you start blowing out your waistline and other things. And then, am I right, Lori? You start
But yeah,
blowing
you
out other
start blowing
things,
out the aesthetic, the
you're
structure.
blowing
The
out your
taller you
aesthetics.
are,
And
the more frame you have, the more muscle you can put on that frame and keep it balanced.
exactly.
So when you're small, and a lot of these you have to be very careful when you're small. Like a lot of people who I like to, and nothing against powerlifting, but you're building a physique. You're not powerlifting, so you got to pick a lane because you're gonna blow out that waist doing powerlifting moves.
And I
Because
think
that,
that's why
Mhm.
Heather said that, because Heather is probably one of the strongest women, probably the strongest woman on the earth that I've seen, period. But again, her squats and her deadlifts, and I had to get away from it as a football player, will blow out your waistline.
well,
Same
that's
thing
another
with
thing too.
And
Mhm.
the
She's
weight to lat
surrounded by,
ratio is
like
huge.
Hunter Anderson. I think she's surrounded by bodybuilders now. They're probably telling her that. They're like,
Yeah,
well,
"Hey, are you gonna
absolutely.
powerlift or are you gonna build a physique? Because you can't do both. You
Nope.
got to pick a lane. Pick your
because
lane."
Angela, she
So I
also
like
Angela.
even now I do back extensions. I could do mornings, and I'll do rack pulls, but I don't deadlift. I squat, but I squat to build a physique. I don't squat to power lift. The squatting I do is very slow, controlled, to do certain things. So it's a different, yeah. But yeah, definitely back to what we're talking about. I think the taller you are, the more bone density you have. Even like Hyacinth told me, I have, there's plenty of room on my frame to put more muscle. If you are smaller, there's only so much frame to put so much muscle on, and then you start to look like parts.
Yeah, and because Angela also used to do powerlifting, but she stopped doing it. She still trains a bit of it, but not she don't do competitive anymore because it was maybe affecting her waistline a bit. She does have
I
a
think
great,
Brandon, the way Brandon Ray trains her is a completely different lane than the way she was training. And even Melanie, who trains Tina, and I remember her last time she was, check your ego out the fucking door. It's not about the weight. It's about time under tension and the way we're training. And that's why Tina showed that she's doing half the weight that she used to do, and she is bigger. So, I try to tell people
Yeah.
that all the time. Quit looking at this
Because it's the way
TikTok
she's doing
bullshit.
her negatives and the way she's holding her pauses, and it's a
Time under tension and contraction is the world of which we live in, world bodybuilding now, and
Yeah.
don't tell them all.
I got a time.
Let them go out there and fumble around for a few more years.
It's to be sold, not told. Is that what the saying is? To be sold, not
Yeah.
told.
Well, I got a
Yeah,
comment from
don't give away
my
all
man
the
Ward.
secrets. There's so much stupid shit.
Yeah, I got a comment from my man Ward 2000 says, I wish the damn live stream wasn't so damn expensive. God damn, I know it's like, yeah, it's
Shit, I wish
costing much, but
bodybuilding wasn't so expensive. Just the
that's the
live
thing is,
stream.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I
he
had a
says,
nosebleed seat, and the nosebleed seat was like $300, and they're just so expensive. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's worth it for me,
I was
but
talking to kids who were
that's
doing
out
the
of
amateur
range.
Olympia, and they were saying that I was telling my friend, like, I don't know if I can afford to go pro anymore. these,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we're talking
it's
like
crazy
sixteen
for the
hundred
athletes.
dollars
Yeah,
Hey,
to enter
Lori,
a show, just an amateur show.
Lori, I felt like you when me and Tina competed, 2 weeks in a row. That was 10 grand right there. And I remember you talking about when you were in Romania, how much that cost. I'm like, fuck, now I understand. 2 weeks of being on the road cost me $10,000.
Serious.
if I had $10,000, brother, I know what I can do with it. I'd give myself another car. Here we got here from Warrior says, Natalia Cuejo has more of a look that is more appealing for WPD guidelines than Sarah's. I understand that. Also, this is from Warrior. He's not a fan. I know he's not a fan of Natalia. So Sarah. He says Sarah looks like she put more size on her frame, crossing the bodybuilding boundaries, if you ask me. But the judges went on to award it. Yeah, that's how it is sometimes.
yeah.
Also, this is
I
from
agree on that.
Kate Ellie says, George, I'm on the sideline today, and I really didn't have to do much to say. Oh, that's cool. You come in. The links in the description.
Yeah.
Usually I see you, but I know I had so many people here. I know I'm gonna have enough room. But I think Raheem is gone, and if you want to step in, you step in where you're ready.
You have to understand, it's like they say the good old boy system. Sarah is in tight with some powerful people in IFBB.
Yeah,
We understand me and Lori at least understand the politics, and I know Lori understands the politics of the last show she just did because I was there too, of the shit that happened. Me and George talked about that off air. That was kind of suspect. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, here
You
we got
don't want to be a complainer. We know what we signed up for.
Yep.
A point that was made to me too is oftentimes, like the judges. It's funny because a lot of those people, the judges see them over and over again, and as they improve,
yeah,
and so the eyes. So you've got politics, you've got people that they see on the regular basis, so they see them improve. So I think their eye is drawn to them. Like, oh, I see
yeah,
her. This is like third time I've seen her. Oh, she's improved. And then you get people they haven't seen in a long time, or like me, who they haven't seen at all, because this is my first show in the U.S. And you have to make it a point to introduce yourself, get to know the promoters, so that people know who you are. But then there's always a level of stuff that you just we don't complain about, but we know it's there.
Yep.
I know what I signed up for. It's like I try to tell people I don't try to dissuade people from going into the pro leagues, but I'm all, when you get to any level of sport at this level, it's, there's politics, there's coaching,
Not
there's,
always sunshine and rainbows, baby.
yeah, it's not all
Yeah.
uniform parts, that's for sure.
I say you got to suck it up, Buttercup. Here we go. This is from
Yeah,
man Warrior.
exactly.
He says from my man Warrior says, people scratch their heads with the judging criteria because they get confused. Yeah, we talk about this. Also, this is from a man Laura. Laura was there. Shout out to Laura. Says, hello, George and friends. Nice to see you, friends. I had a great time at the Olympia Expo. Hope you guys enjoyed Olympia Live competition. Thank you, Laura. I did. I enjoyed it. I just watched the amateur part for the women and I watched the pro part for the women. And after that, I was done. Also, shout out to KL. He says, it's a lawyer. He says, lawyer's looking buff on the panel. That's what you wish you'd be on the
Fine.
panel.
Yeah.
Links in the description. You want to jump in and let me know. Also from a man, Mud J 2024. He says, I think Sarah is kind of crossing the bodybuilding boundaries, and needs to to dial it back. The thing is, once you hit those boundaries, sometimes it's hard to dial it back. Because I remember he said to me, they want Julia McCartney to come in I think in a particular condition, but she said when she trained, she had to dial it back herself.
Yeah, I remember
Well-
seeing her at the New York Pro when I first did the New York Pro years ago, and she said that she didn't train legs for a long time because she had to dummy her legs down. So she just didn't train legs at all. She just didn't train them, to bring them down to be able to compete in women's physique. And then she went from the New York Pro to the Olympia, and the rest is history.
Well, it's like when I saw this, it's like to answer David's original question, should Sarah consider moving up to a women's bodybuilding? And for all the other people who are saying, oh, well, she should too. She just took the #1 spot in WPD, and she's been one of the top competitors now for years. So there's no reason for her to make the jump. She's one of the
And
very
the only thing I thought-
she's one of the very top. So I mean, if she was getting like no placings, or if she was getting near the bottom of the pack,
And
I
she
mean,
was
then
Ashley Jones. And she
then
was
it would
Jones.
yeah,
Like-
it would make sense for her to make a jump. But she's repeatedly one of the top competitors. So it doesn't behoove her to consider a jump when she's one of the very best in the world, where she
Yeah, but
is.
she could come in what, 12, 13, 14.
And again,
yeah.
Lori knows this better than everybody, and we've seen it at her show. There were some girls that moved from women's physique to women's bodybuilding at the Anaheim show that shouldn't have been in women's bodybuilding, should have stayed in women's physique. But it's everybody can say that, seeing that she won and seeing her in that physique crowd. But it's a different crowd when you get in the room in a group of body women, open bodybuilders like Lori, and then put them in that crowd. It's a whole different lane.
Right.
All of a
like
sudden, their legs look hella small. Like their legs
Ashley
are.
or Maya. Those are girls who, like you were saying earlier, that were placing at the bottom of women's physique, and then they went into women's bodybuilding. Like Maya was, I think, a Louisiana show. Like when they was in the New York Pro was in Tampa, came to Tampa and won it. Ashley went from women's physique, came to New York and won it. There's girls out there like that, but it's like I think Sarah is in the right lane that she needs to be in, and so is Natalia. I don't think they need to move in.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I don't think what some people don't understand is there's a lot of girls have to start in physique to get your pro card because there's not a lot of open women's bodybuilding at the regional level. So when I had to go, when I had to
That's true.
qualify for nationals, I had to do a physique show, even though I wanted to be a bodybuilder, right? But the only regional shows that had the only bodybuilding I had to go to nationals. That was the first show where they had women's open bodybuilding, and of course I entered. But yeah, so sometimes like at first you got to kind of start out in the physique, but then you make a are once you get to nationals. Are you gonna make that crossover? Are you gonna make the move? So
and Tina was the same way. She would go into North Americans and she would place, biggest girl out there would place second, third, fourth at nationals and North Americans. And soon as she went over to women's bodybuilding, she went to Miss International, she turned pro, in women's
Well,
bodybuilding. She just didn't think she was big enough.
Mhm.
And so when she went over to women's bodybuilding, right away she turned pro. So there's that
exactly.
figure line for girls, depending how big you are, what your stature is, this, that, and the other, how you make that decision whether you're going to make that move or not.
I
Yeah,
knew
and
when I went to
Saturday,
nationals and all the physique girls were like 148 pounds and they weighed me in at 160 and I was like, I'm a bodybuilder.
like I said, Saturday,
The guy looked at me and goes, you know you're a heavyweight, right? And I was like,
yeah, because Saturday I interviewed Renee Milan. She's from Australia. She competed in the amateur Olympia because it was one lady who won the overall. That was Lisa Smith, who I interviewed also before. She won the overall, but because there was enough bodies. Well, one lady I know named Sherry. She wanted to compete in the open, but somehow I don't know. There was some issue. She wasn't. She might not have got a regional or something like that, and that's why she couldn't compete in the open under mass at the she did 35 and over, but they didn't let her compete in the open part. I don't know. Then I got a young lady who got interviewed this weekend. She got a pro card at the Olympia. You know, she's a physique competitor, and I think I was talking with Renee. She said she's planning on maybe next year doing the Miss International, because I think my friend Yetta, she competed in the, I think it was a women's middleweight lightweight, but there was only her and another girl. But because with that show, if you can get at least 5 competitors or more in your class, you get a pro card. But because I think in Yetta's class there was only 2 of them, she couldn't get a pro card. The girl who won a pro card, she was qualified for the Rising Phoenix, but she turned it down. She looked more like a physique competitor. She great condition, great body. I forgot her name, but I interviewed the lady who competed with her at that show, who got her a pro card at USA's. Nationals coming up in a couple of months. That could be opportunity for a lot of those competitors who didn't get their pro cards. It's going to be harder for the ones overseas. They have to probably got to do the Lena Popa, I think the Marine Muscle Fest. That is also Olympia and a pro qualifier, because I remember that one lady who competed in the Olympia, Natalia Bastrova, she won both women's bodybuilding and physique, and her physique, this woman, I can't believe it. I can't believe this woman is 56 years old, and she's just.
I can.
I mean, her physique is just crazy. I mean, and there's some debate there where David, you were there, like you talked to Ann Gruber, right before the show, and I feel like she should have got a little higher. I mean, her and a couple of ladies in physique. I don't know, what's. I think
Yeah.
they were war conditioning, but then those girls that had the conditioning but still didn't crack the top 10.
I think there's something to be said for the politics of being new, and like being new to the Olympia, like Lori was saying about the judges maybe not even knowing you or not seeing you improve. So I think that with like Natalia Bastrova, Tracy Guile, Susan Graham, a few other ladies that were, although Tracy was 10th and technically in the top 10, they're ladies that I think could have definitely placed higher if the judges had known them a little bit better. I want to mention something real quick too about judging panels, that they really vary so much by region and by show, and it's just so, being such a subjective sport, I feel for the athletes, because they walk in not really knowing where they're going to place.
That should be part of your homework. I always know the judges in my
Yeah.
panel. So I know, like, if there's Sandy going to be there, I know, like, Saturday night, you start to get to know, make it a point of like getting to know your judges. Do a little research, right?
So, Lori, let me ask you a question. And by saying that, did you know that Tamer was going to be the head judge?
I learned that at the show. But I also made it a point to go up and introduce myself. And I also made it a point after the show that I walked straight up to him, and that's who I got my feedback from, no matter what my opinion of the situation was. You know what I'm saying?
And what did you think of his feedback?
I thought his feedback was correct. I was a little confused when I was told that I had some of the best conditioning he saw that day, but I didn't crack top 10. I go back and I see all my flaws. Definitely, so I see where I fell short a little bit too. I'm very realistic about where, where I need to improve and what I need to do. But yeah, definitely the pro leagues are different. There's different, it's who's got them. There's girls who have a ton of hype behind them. There's the ones they know that they see year after year. But yeah, it's on my only second pro show, and I do try to get to know my judging. I feel like I get to know, I learn about the judges a little bit in the panels. But yeah, I'm still relatively new to all of it, like the politics. I just kind of absorb it. I take note, and then I move forward.
Yeah,
What was your
because
opinion? I'm curious about what your opinion was.
Mine?
Yeah.
I don't think that promoters should judge shows. I don't think promoters should be head judges. I knew there was a lot of controversy that Tina seen at the judging table between the black guy and Tamer. It was an argument
Oh.
at one point in time. It was an argument at one point in time because she's looking at him. And so, and I know I have a biased opinion because, but the things that I heard and the things that came out at the show, being that Derek's client was, and he's blatantly said in an interview that, Derek and him are really good friends and his client was second, which I didn't see. And the girl who placed third was his client, which I think, as a judge, I'm not going to judge if I have I'm getting ready to judge a show in November and I have clients in that show. If my clients are in that class, I am pulling myself out of that panel because
Oh, of
I don't think it's
course.
fair.
Yeah.
But again, that's what happened, and that's just facts.
Mhm.
So and when people come up to Tina and were like, "Man, we didn't see that coming." Hunter came up to Tina and says, "The only person she was worried about was Tina. I didn't see that." And so what happened is we didn't see coming. Then as things start to trickle out, and Melanie is really good friends with Jake, was business partner with Jake at some point in time, said they were going to have a conversation because, again, as a promoter, you should not be judging a show. Damn sure shouldn't be head judging the show. That's like sitting there saying, Jim Mannion's going to judge a show or Steve's going to judge a show where they got clients in at a pro show. That should never, ever happen. Never, ever happen.
Yesterday,
I heard that at the
You're
end.
right.
That was
Totally
the first
right.
time I'd ever come into that situation. So I had never seen that situation before. So I was just like, okay, noted.
And I've known like people like when they had the Omaha Pro, girls came up to Jack Tatone and was like, "Who's the head judge?" Because that's very important. And as soon as they said Tamer's brother, everybody was like, "Shit, God damn it, I picked the wrong show." Because
you almost know who's going to be first, second, and third.
Because
yeah,
there's
because
inconsistencies, and these girls know that. So you're absolutely right when it comes to head judges. I knew when I was an amateur and I did USA's in 1 year, and I looked and I seen Lee Thompson to next to Jim Mannion. I knew I was coming in second. I knew I was gonna win. I was like, "Fuck," because you just know these.
Yeah.
because yesterday we had Janine was on here, Janine Mikowski, and we talked about it a bit because she looked great. She should have been a top five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had her top five. I had Janine and the Asian girl who was end up being fifth. I had Janine in that top 5 to 6, which I was completely surprised that because when they did the call outs, Lori was there, she was in the show. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? It was so crazy. But again,
Well,
like David said, we're in a very subjective sport, and it's the definition of insanity sometimes of what we do. So all we can do is go back and it's like the Legion show I did. How many times do you see in a show where you have 23 guys in the class, but they only call out 2? They call out 2 guys in a class of 23. That's it. And then they had a second call out of the guys of I think it was 7 of us or 8 of us. I'm like, when does that happen? Especially for Olympia qualifier for 2025, it doesn't happen.
yeah, crazy.
Now if that's Billy, or if that's Billy or Jim or Tyler or Steve, that's never going to happen. I've only seen it happen one time with Steve, and that's it. But it wasn't like those 2 guys were like clear-cut favorites. That's just what he did, and the head judge has the power to do that, which was crazy.
And that's,
but
it's really kind of unfair to like the other top 3 or 4 competitors because as you pose people out, they start to fade or shine.
Well,
So
and again, it's called comparisons for a reason.
Yeah, you get those because one thing I have to say about Titans is they pose the hell out of us. They just like That was probably one of the longest poses. I mean, I
Yeah,
was
they worked the shit
stoked
out.
because
Got
usually the
Sarah
women's
about to take
bodybuilding,
that.
they roll you in, they roll you out, and you're done. And I'm like, man, they just kept calling us out and calling us out, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm
Yeah,
like,
because I know
because you really get to see, who starts to shine, like who's
yeah,
not
because I know Hunter
sweating,
said that.
who's holding it.
Hunter said I started sweating. She was tired. Tina's like, holy shit, because they were working.
I just fucking held it, man. I was like, I ain't budging. I'm like, fuck this. I didn't practice 45 minutes a day for nothing. I am not sweating. No, Tina was solid, man. But yeah, there was a little sweat, that, testament to how dry you are if you don't sweat, right?
Right.
No sweat
I
left in you.
I had a question to throw out to everybody. What they thought about this? This is in relation to WPD Olympia. What do y'all think of Sharonica Henton getting third with a classic WPD look in comparison to others? Do you think that was deserved compared to all the other girls that were up there? Do you think that was wrong? Do you think that would be it would be a positive move rewarding a classic WPD look like that at the biggest show? Or do you think there
No,
were other women, do you think other women deserved that better than her?
you're absolutely right when
I
you
was
say
really
that, because
pleased.
if we go off of what the podcast we had last week, right, of what Bob
Yeah.
Sugarillo and Isabel was talking about, right, that is the epitome of women's physique.
Yeah.
That is the absolute
And
epitome of what Bob, when they went away from women's bodybuilding because the last year Iris won it, it was too hardcore, wasn't good on the eyes. Then again, I'll repeat this over and over when Sean says, when they made an announcement that women's bodybuilding was coming back, that's not going to be as hard. It's going to be a little softer, which Andrea is. She's the epitome of women's bodybuilding and what they want. But when you look at that, she is the epitome of what women's physique should be. And that's what
yeah.
Bob, you go back and look at the interview that Bob and Isabel talked about. That is what women's physique was supposed to be. That's when you had what was the first ever one, the Dana Lynn Bailey. And then you had
Daniel
Lord.
and Bailey.
And yeah, Dana Lynn Bailey and Lord was the epitome of what they wanted. And then it started getting harder. And that's why Linda bowed out. Linda Murray said, I do not want to take my body and make it this way. So she bowed out because, again, there's this standard, and then it started getting harder and harder and harder and harder. And as it started getting harder and harder and harder, it became less appealing to most people. And that's now where you're out. Here's the thing. Look at the women physique competitors. Look at Sarah and look at Natalia and look at what their conditioning. If their conditioning is better than a woman's bodybuilder, there is a problem.
Yeah.
There is a big problem.
Yeah. I really thought Sharonica looked terrific, and I was really pleased that she got rewarded for her look. And and I'm just glad that she's got her comeback too. She took a break to build her posing coaching business, and she's really succeeded in that now. And her posing is just like fantastic too. I think that should be acknowledged as well. But man, I just thought she looked fantastic, and was pleased that the judges recognized her for that. And I was really, really happy with it.
And here's the thing: when you look at Sid Gilman and you look at Andrea, and let's say C-Bum, it's called consistency. It's a word out, and this is what I'm trying to explain to Raheem about his girl. There's no consistency there. No offense,
Oh God, here we go.
There's no consistency. She has not. Christina Mendoza, unbelievable potential, could possibly be a top 3 girl, but I need to see more consistency. You can't bow out of Worlds. You can't bow out of the Olympias that you qualified for.
Oh, I know. That drives me crazy.
It drives me absolutely crazy.
You know how many girls want those spots? Like, I don't care about. I mean, I've been absolutely dog sick, but you come and do your job at the end of the day. But
and one person I will point out is like someone's really coming along, get impressive, is Lavinia Barros. And it's the picture from here, and she, she did her first Olympia back in 2022, and like I said, she's still young. She's kind of like Hunter. She's not even, I think, 30 yet. And this is a picture this is a back picture from when she was at the Olympia. Her back was just crazy because she got 6. That means she beat out people like Sherry and Michaela and Teresa. I mean, she was seventh, right behind Christina Mendoza. And I think it's these young competitors like her and Hunter are the ones that, if they bring in better level of conditioning, put into work, they'll do well. And it keeps changing. It's evolving.
But
We
it
do talk
takes
about this.
time. So those girls have great potential if they stick with the sport, and as they get their muscle density up, and learning your body and how you're gonna condition your body takes a little time. So
Muscle
that's what I mean. These
maturity.
girls have time if they stick with the sport. They're gonna. But I think what I noticed too with like these younger girls who are getting these positions from other bodybuilding is they're looking for more balance in the leg. So you really gotta bring that. You can have a spectacular back, but you better have really good width in the leg too, which is what I've noticed. So they're really looking at this balance from top to bottom. I noticed that the top seven have really good balance from top to bottom. So from back to front.
Mhm. And like Ava Manello, she was at the bottom. She made a debut at the Toronto Pro, and I think she looked better at Toronto than she did at the Olympia. She has the size, but she just got to bring in that conditioning. And like I said, I think I think she's one of the youngest. I think she's 25 or 26.
I really like her look a lot. Yeah, she definitely needed more conditioning for the Olympia.
But see that
I was going to
balance
say
that
something.
she has from top to bottom, like she's got this really, she's got this. Her hamstrings and glutes, they move smoothly up. She does not like sometimes I see wide on top and then I see everything sort of just at the bottom. And so I noticed that even like with the young girls, they have really nice flow from top to bottom as they went into side poses, front poses. Like their front quads were nice. They move from the back hamstrings. You could see a little quad from the back. So it's like I felt like some of the girls that were a little narrow on the bottom and didn't have that balance. They just, even if you have the conditioning and experience, they just were like, okay, 8th, 9th, 10th.
And that's
what do
when
you think?
that's when the Helena comes in because of the muscle maturity. Because she has that muscle maturity that she can slide into one of those top 5 spots after taking off a year because she just has that muscle maturity and that condition, and
knowing how to train. And her knowing how to train.
Exactly.
Like knowing how to realize that she's got to bring in those fucking legs. You got to have a serious leg game. You got to be balanced from top to bottom. You just can't go out there and have big shoulders and a back, but didn't have no hamstrings.
Mm-hmm. We have some comments here. This is from my man Money J says, Sharaka Hinton, she be the standard of women's physique, not what Natalia and Sarah have. I think I agree with that. Also, he says that Tracy Guy hopefully will make top 5 next year. Maybe I really like her. Yeah, and Tracy's a nice lady. She's been on my channel a couple of times and shot you. Also, here's one he mentioned. This is from War 2000. Taylor Lamont was praised a little too early last year for Miss Olympia because she was brand new and was first discovered on social media and found her way in the IFB Legion Pro quickly. Well, the thing is, if she wants to compete, like one thing with fitness division, there's not as many shows. And if she can get on the show, then get a qualification, that's how it is sometimes. It's not about, social media popularity is fine, but she did not win the show. She took 3rd. And that's pretty good for somebody young because, you had Whitney wasn't competing. Oksana, she's pregnant. And Ariel's out because she's dealing with some injuries. So then now this is the opportunity for becoming like herself.
Hey, opportunity knocks. You open that door, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And backflip all the way through it.
We have a comment here from my man Stefan Prey, and shout out to Stefan. He says, "Do you think Andrea should concentrate on the Olympia instead of the Rising Phoenix?" Well, she's most times she's contracted to that show half the time, but I think now that she's no longer the champion for this year, maybe she should do like what Sarah does. She always just focused on the Olympia.
I think, this is my personal. I think Andrea Shaw's wicked smart girl. wicked smart woman. Sorry, and I think that she knows when her peak is. And when me and my Monty were watching her, I don't think she ever really tries to peak at Rising Phoenix. I'm
Yeah.
just putting it out there. I'm pretty sure that she's aiming for Olympia. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what they're 2 weeks apart, and so that's like a really that's clear rolling the dice on and how you want to peak out. You know what I'm saying? But do I
Nope.
think she was a
It's
little
more time than
surprised
that
that
though.
she
It's like
didn't take Rising Phoenix? I think so. I think she
they're
went
like
home and
6 weeks apart though.
oh, they're
Yeah,
like 6 weeks. Okay.
I
Well,
think
yeah.
the biggest thing with Andrea at the World Championship is her and John got complacent. That's why she made the coach change because
yeah.
it was a little, because
Yeah.
she used to roll in that show and dominating, and I understand. I think she understands that, because and clearly Angela Yo made it clear during the Meet the Athletes meeting that she was the best in the world, even though she didn't have an Olympia title. And I think that Andrea took that personal. Andrea, I remember one year that Helena and Margie stood on stage and were like, and Helena was talking shit like, wait till you see my conditioning, and and Margie and her going back and forth, and literally this is Andrea. Okay, just shaking her head.
No, I could
You
almost see
can you
because I'm
can
from
you
the Bay
can't talk
Area.
your
I almost could
here's the
see
thing,
just
at the end of the day, you
that
cannot
side
talk
eye,
yourself
like
into a championship. You gotta show the fuck up. You cannot talk your way into a championship.
I think she
Let the
said
body
that.
do the talking.
I
And
think
Andrew Shaw is a girl who lets her body do the talking. And so
Keith.
she understood. What did she say after she lost the world? She says, I gotta come in shredded, I gotta come in better at the Olympia than I did this show, because she knew that she was a little complacent and that she was a little off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the shit that Angela Yo, which I wouldn't have did if I was her, but that's just me. I'm not gonna throw fuel. I'm not gonna throw coal on the fire for you to fucking give you more motivation.
stoke that bitch is fired.
Wait, 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 wait. Go ahead, Raheem. Go ahead, Raheem.
I think the reason why Andrea Yo said what she said is if you go back to the Rising Phoenix and how the interview after the show went, it's like it was kind of like a shade. Like, you don't interview the loser first. And I think
Right?
she noticed that they interviewed Andrea first. Then if you looked at the way how Linda Mary talked to Yo, it was a little shade there.
Yeah.
So if
You're
I'm the
absolutely
winner,
right.
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, how are you going to interview the loser first?
Yeah.
Then on top of that,
I said
no,
the
but
same
hear me out.
thing.
I'm putting my 10-foot hat on. Just hear me out. Hear me out. I'm going conspiracy theory.
No, I'm hearing you. I like what you're saying there.
I'm not saying that Andrea didn't win the fifth time, like, because she came in good condition. But if I'm Andrea Yo and I see Linda Mary asked me this question at the press conference, then I realized Linda Mary got Shaw's back. And I don't know if she was the judge, but Linda was the judge in that shit. I'm like, okay.
No, Linda's
We
never
have to
judging.
ask you on this number 5 here. You get what I'm saying? Not saying, because like you said, it's all about politics. So
Linda's not a judge, though.
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying, no, I get you saying, but I'm just saying if I wasn't at the show, so I'm saying. But it's just like it was like you feel like the fix was already in. Not saying that Andrea didn't work out. She did her job. But just like, yo, she shaded me like I'm the champion, the Rising Phoenix champion, and you didn't interview me first. You interviewed me last. And that was the thing why she was so emotional.
Yeah. All right, here's
That's
this
a good
comment.
point. I like that. I that's really subtle. That yeah. The shade was felt. I'm sure.
Yeah, this is coming from man. KL says shots fired from Keith. Shout out to KL. Shots fired.
I just keep it 100.
Also, this is a comment from a man. Money J says if the judges ever go back to no styration glutes, no dryness, etc. guidelines, Sharonica would be Miss Olympia champion if the judges decided to go back to the routine.
And here's the thing. What did Bob say in this interview with Isabel when he created women's physique, which he did? He says the last thing that should be judged is conditioning. That's the last thing that should be judged.
They even say in the if you read, it says no striation.
And Sandy is on YouTube saying that. So it's like, what? I'm looking at both of these girls, and I don't want to take anything away from them. But again, at the end of the day, if a women's physique girl is harder than a woman's bodybuilder, there is a problem.
And it makes us look bad.
Yeah.
If you look at the women's figure girls, and they're looking more like a women's physique girl, there is a problem.
Oh, God,
And
Yeah.
that's a
That's true.
judge's problem.
I've
That's not
seen a
an
couple of
athlete's
those figure
problem.
girls in the gym, and I'm like, she's figure? She's
Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, and we've all discussed this. If you're going to try to beat the champion, are you going to chase after somebody else besides a champion? No, we're all chasing after that look because we know that's the look we got to bring to beat the champion. So
And
when
it's
things
also
like,
what the judges are saying and what the judges are rewarding, right?
and
They're all
again,
saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
bring it down, do this, do that," and then you do it, and then they give the prize to the biggest shredded girl on stage, and you're just like, okay, well,
well,
so
it's
goes
just like
back
if you listen
to
to interviews with Samson Dua, he said, they told me I need to bring more depth to my back and better conditioning. What did he do? And just like they told Andrea, Sandy has told, Andrea, don't change anything. Just come in the same, maybe a little bit better, but that's it. Consistency, guys. That's what we're talking about.
It's like one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. With first, like to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Woo!
yeah,
You can't beat the man.
consistent improvement too. I think that's what the judges
you
like to
get,
see throughout your career.
You
Like
go up,
every year, you either
Yeah.
consistently getting better, better. So
but you're going off of the can beat the man, can't beat the man. But this is why I keep telling you about sports is going the way of the dodo birds. Because right now you have athletes who wants to do what they want to do. They don't want to listen to their coaches. Shout out to Robert Sharla, who got fired from the Jets because of we know who. You got prima donnas like in LA. Bringing up a son who don't know how to play basketball at YMCA. So when you get these athletes who take over, like I said, if it was written in stone about physique, then the lady should go off of what's written in stone. Not now you got athletes say, well, I won't do it my way. And now you got judges confused and everything. And now if you got if you want to get new people, new groups into the sport of bodybuilding, they're gonna be like, well, she looked like she's more of a bodybuilder than physique. So what's the difference between physique and bodybuilder? And the newer people will not understand how you, Keith or Lori, break it down. They still scratch their head, but she's big. Like that's not how's that physique? They should have just went by the guidelines of what is physique and everything. Because right now, every athlete is just doing their thing, and they think that it's being the greatest. But in reality, you're not the greatest. Like the NBA is allowing traveling to go on, discontinue, and now they can check up numbers where that never happened in NBA before in 75 years. So it's like now the athletes are running in the asylum, and we don't know what is a good athlete now because when things are written in stone, there's a bylaw and everything, how to play the game, how to be a bodybuilder, what's the difference between what's a physique competitor is and what's a bodybuilder competitor is. Now athletes say, no, I want to do it my way, and we want to change the game. And now judges have to reward it because they say, okay, you're supposed to come in this way, but you're coming bigger, so I guess we got to do it this way. And
the thing is, Raheem, how do you go backwards? How do you reverse it? Because you can't reverse it. How do you take the title away from Sarah? If she comes in the same, how do you reverse it? Because
you can't. You got to let it be.
Because she follows the guidelines.
No. What I'm saying is now because of that, it's going to be because now it's different. Like you said, it's different. So now you have to, when people come into bodybuilding sports, now you have to break down to them what physique is and what bodybuilder is. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the fact that the athletes did it their way, and they said, "The hell with the bylaws. We're gonna do that my way." So when you want to get newer, watch the show. You got to just break down.
The thing is, remember the judges. They're the ones who
fundamentally, if you put a physique competitor next to a bodybuilder, I'm gonna weigh 20 pounds more lean. When I'm shredded, I'm 20. Your average physique girl, even though she looks big on stage, is probably running about 148, 35, between 148 and 35 pounds. Your average female bodybuilder on stage is running what? 150, 160 at the lightest, maybe. 170. So if you put a bodybuilder next to a physique girl on stage, you're going to see that the bodybuilder girl is much larger than the physique girls, even though the physique girls, because of it's it's an illusion. Yep. When you're shredded like that, you look bigger. But if you actually put like Tina next to a physique girl, Tina's gonna look like a giant.
Yeah,
Because
she's 186 pounds.
And the thing is, like I said, the judges are the one who they put to follow those bylaws they put into them by the head officials. If they're not following those rules, then what the athlete's supposed to do? When you get rewarded for coming in the best top level conditioning, you come in great shape. Then what's they supposed to do? They can say, "Hey, I can go back," but then what's the point of me going back if I'm getting places? If I've seen shows where I've seen some women that wasn't in the best condition, but it still won. I've seen shows where some women were top condition, but they lost. I mean, there's shows. I mean, it's circumstantial of how these
it's
judges go
subjective,
by.
it's political, it's any given Sunday what that panel of judges are looking for. There's so many variables that go into it.
Yeah. Here, we got a comment here from a man, shout out to man Money J says Sylvania's exotic has that beautiful structure of muscle that's pleasing to look at, needs to work on conditioning. One thing she needs to work on is like, hey, your boobs are too big. I mean, they kind of take away from your physique. She had a great physique before. I mean, they look like cannonballs. I mean, like I said, I'm not a be all boob guy, but sometimes when you depending if you get them and if you get them right, they look good. But then some women, I remember it was they used to say Laura Cuerva had the worst boob job back in the day. I mean, it was because hers was kind of offside. Some women get too big, some women get too small, some are moderate. But then if that offsets your physique, that's why you're not placing as well as you should. Here, this is from a man. Uh, shout out to Warrior J. He says AJ is freaking hilarious whenever he watches the women's bodybuilding shows live. He moans, he grunts whenever he sees quality muscle that looks delightful on some of these ladies. Yeah, that's true. AJ, like, oi. I mean, he's just a fan, and truthfully. Also, this is from Warrior. He says, tread lightly, Raheem, criticizing Andrea Shaw in front of George. Hey, I can take a criticism. I can take it.
That wasn't criticism. I just explained to you about. See, this is where y'all look at these Bible shows for the exotic of the women. I looked at that show of okay, Andrea Yo got kind of shaded there. That's what I was looking at. See, I was looking at look at the muscles, look at Andrea Shaw is cute, but not realizing that hey, wait a minute. How do the champion go on last? How do you interview the champion last and you interview the loser or the person that's behind them first? That's when you see that in sports, it doesn't matter if it's like baseball, football. Keith, you play NFL.
I agree with you.
You
Like the Super Bowl, the losing team gets
do you interview the Super Bowl champion first or the losers first?
Yeah,
Raheem,
exactly.
From the first day I've seen that, I thought it was very disrespectful, and I thought it was very shady, as you would say. It's one of those things where I sit there and said, I go, are they trying to add fuel to that told you right away who they like and who they're leaning towards, and it's Andrea clearly. Wings of Strength is no offense to and even Tina, my wife, has said it. She says, I don't think that they give the respect to her that she deserves, and she's absolutely right.
Let me just say like this. Let's say because like I said, people outside bodybuilding world, they know about you guys. You're not an anomaly. You're not like something just flew out the sky. If this was a popular sport and that was airing on NBC Sports or everything, they see and people view what Linda Mary did to Andrea Yo. Am I saying right? Andrea Yo?
Yeah, they got it.
They would have said, "Yo, they do shades to fix," and then they'll be like, and then when they go to the Olympia and they see that Andrea Shaw wins the Olympian, it would have been the water cooler around the office. I think the fix was in. I don't know if she deserved that 5th place. I think we should put an asterisk on it because we see that Linda Mary was that. No, this would have been it if it was.
I love you, man.
If it was to elevate up the sports like the NFL, the MLB, because we all do that. Like everybody, okay, for instance, when the Yankees went to the World Series in '96 and that little kid caught the ball, everybody said, "Yo, that was a foul. They should have called the foul," but the ref said that's a home run. So it would have been like that. And then people in Baltimore would say, "No, we won that. We won that." It would have been the same thing if bodybuilding was mainstream. They'd be like, "Yo, she's shaded. How do you interviewed the champion last, and then the person who lost to came in second place. She interviewed her first, and then you're rooting for her. Say, you got it, you got it. You gonna go for Miss Olympia? I know you got this. Yeah. And then you see Linda Murray interview them, and it's that look that she gave Andrea Yao, like, we got this in the bag. People have been like, this is fixed. Not saying Andrea didn't do her thing, but this would have been the conversation.
And the problem that's what makes our sport difficult, and it makes our sport not as popular as the others, because there's clearly bylaws when it comes to baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, track, everything. And there's not necessarily a strict bylaw when it comes to bodybuilding, because as we look at this, and you're talking to a guy who was 3-time runner-up at USA's Nationals before I turned pro, you know, that I'm sitting here like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? You know, and again, the word I got from Jim Mannion when I lost to Jason Hutt at USA's one year was, hey, Keith, it's like comparing apples to oranges. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? When I can play football, and you're right, Raheem, when I play football, we score the most points, we win. I cross the finish line in track, I win. Bodybuilding is a whole different, and again, the problem that you're having is so many people, and this is pertaining to the show that Lori was in, that we had friends that came to that show and people who are watching it at our bar, and you have all these people, and there's hundreds of people at our bar watching the show, sitting scratching their head, goes, how did she come in 4th place?
Exactamundo. I take back shots of all those picks and send my coach.
The eye in the sky don't lie. Mm-hmm. And you got eyes, George has eyes, Lori has eyes, and all of us have eyes on the panel, and all scratching our heads goes, how the hell did that happen?
Yep.
And that's what makes it less appealing to people to want to watch it, because they're like, I'm not watching this political bullshit. You know, that's why I don't watch
like goes down like this, like
politics on TV.
I gotta take off, guys.
All right.
Hey, see you guys next week.
See you next week. All right.
Okay.
And like good example like this, like Hella and Sherry. I mean, they look like they could have been in the top 5. But,
yeah.
You know, Sherry took 6.
Yeah, that's crazy.
8. I mean, she should have been in the higher. But one person we're going to mention is you know, there was some retirements announced. Chris Seabum is not going to compete anymore. He's retiring. And Sid Gillen, who just won 8 Olympias. And, you know, and now she's up there with Ronnie Coleman, Linda Murray, and also
Lee Haney.
Adela Garcia. Lee Haney, I think Lee had 8 or 7.
And Lee had
he had 8. He had 8.
Yeah. He had 8. Okay, Lee Haney had 8. I thought he had 7. And that's pretty good, you know. And she's made her announcement, and that was a surprise. I mean, you know, Bob said that she was usually push for 10. What I'm gonna pull up. She was. This is an Alpha press conference, and this is posted on. If you want to go to, it's on the Go Figure podcast that's hosted by Lisa Sege and also her friend Rose Black. They also did an interview. There are interviews coming up with both Andrea and Sid Gillen, and you know, I listed some of it, and really she reported her heart out and that decision to reason why she decided to retire. So here we have 8-time figure champion Sid Gillen.
What can I even say? 8 straight titles in the figure division. You have ruled for the better part of a decade. I know we've talked many times in that center square on the Olympia stage, and you've always contended, I want 10. Like 10's good. It's a nice round number. I kind of got the whole decade covered here, but you threw me a curveball last night. I don't think anybody was expecting you to retire on the. I mean, again, no greater stage to go out, just like Chris did. Good timing if that's what you want to do. But what made you kind of rethink? I know you're the busiest person I've ever met with all your degrees, and every time I turn around, you got another master's degree or another business you started. But what made you finally decide to say, you know what, I think I'm good here. Time to move on to other things.
It was a family discussion to kind of, a lot of things have been falling in my lap. And so there always comes a point where you have to reassess your inventory and say, hey, maybe now is the best time, because the amount of things that are coming my way are bigger than I could imagine. And when I have my Olympia title at risk, I give 150% every single day, all year long, to make sure that I am prepared for my title and to retain it. So if those opportunities are coming up, it's like I want to be able to dive fully into them. And so about 6 weeks out, one of those opportunities popped up, and I was like, talk to my family. I'm like, hey, I think this year might need to be it. Because originally I wanted 8 and then I switched it to 10. But then if I go to 10, I know me, I need to go to 11. And I'm like, nah, we're not going to just keep going that much because I have so many things to offer. And I think the key thing for me is always telling people I am a person who bodybuilds. I am not a bodybuilder. I have those degrees for reasons. I have those businesses for a reason, and I am more than that. So I want to make sure I'm pouring into those other aspects of my life as well to make sure that people know that there is life outside of the sport as well, but also being able to pull from those sectors and pull them into bodybuilding so that they can see that we do have brains, we can think for ourselves, and we're more than just jocks. So that made a big difference for me this year.
Well said, as always. Yet, being as busy as you are with all the things that you got going on, including your own preps, you found time to help a fellow Olympian in her preps and getting ready. But I don't know how you do it, but somehow you get it done. But how's it going to? I mean, listen, you've not been an Olympian in years, So we're going back some time now. But I mean, I know you're enjoying the moment right now, and that's all great. I thought it was a great move. If you're going to go out on top,
That's
right?
Right.
You control your own destiny.
That's right.
Listen, it gets harder and harder as you go, correct? I know both of you have nothing but the utmost respect for Linda Murray, for Iris Kyle, for Ronnie Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you can put 8 on the board, I mean, that's just absolutely. What can I even say? 8 straight titles in the figure division. You have ruled for the better part of a decade. I know we've talked many, many times in that center square on the Olympia stage.
Yeah, that is some big news for Sid to step away. Competing as long as she has. I think that can't remember the last person who had the title. See, almost 8 years since 2016, and
Nicole.
That was the last person, and she comes at a level. But now, what happens now? This is a door that opens for Jessica Rhea Padilla. She gets the opportunity to maybe next year to win the title, or we might get somebody who might come out of nowhere and do it. Maybe, I don't know if Lola Montez can probably push up there because she's been 3 the past 2 years, ever since she made top 3. Jessica, she's just been number 2, but could somebody kind of like Samson, could somebody come out and maybe take that spot?
I think the biggest thing when we say take that spot is simply there's who's the girl who's been nipping on her heels. Who's the girl who's been in second. It's like I mean, I guess second or third for that matter. That's the question that we have to ask. I know everybody is I think even with C-Bum retiring, it was one of those things that guys like fighting because they knew they were never going to beat him. And even when Ronnie had his last one, it was a kind of controversial thing. But at some point in time, I think these athletes, and like she said, the business venture of it all, meaning that, there's other opportunities. Kai Green, when he walked away, even though he never was missing, Dana Lynn Bailey, they understand their business opportunity because at the end of the day, here's the thing. I'd rather go out on my own terms, than go. It's like Tom Brady, I'd rather go out on my own terms than go keep pushing myself and then lose my title when I knew I should have took a step back. And I think part of the thing is because I know she's been talking for a while about starting a family, so I think that's part of it as well. But again, the question, probably the biggest question is, are those business ventures and the things and those master's degree going to pay her more money? And the things that, like Bob said, she's one of the busiest people on the face of earth, that, she's making money probably from posing, from coaching, and all these other different ventures, that she's doing, that she can walk away on top as the queen of the mountain because she knows that there's probably, and I don't even know who else has more figure titles than her, that is a big mountain to climb to grab 8 figure titles from this point on for anybody, So I don't think anybody, it's like Tom Brady. We talk about Patrick Mahomes all the time doing it, but you still got to do it. He's still got 3 more to catch up to Tom, and that's a tough thing to do. So again, is it going to happen? We don't know. So, I think to bow out on top of the mountain, and could she do it? But like she said, some people with competitive nature, like Tom Brady, he retired, then he unretired, went to Tampa, won another championship. Michael Jordan, because of their competitive nature. I'm going to go play baseball. I'm done with basketball. Oh, I'm not done with basketball. Come back and win another title. Some athletes, like me, I retired and unretired because my competitive nature is, and it's in my blood that I'm just not done yet. And some people, understand that when they're done, and I think, with all the accomplishments she's had in this sport, all her business ventures, you can walk away on your own terms, just like Dana Lynn Bailey. Dana Lynn Bailey's net worth is way more than she'll ever win. And I'll tell you, like Kai Green said to me at CT Fletcher's grand opening, get what you can get out of this.
Right. Well,
It's that Obama
It's
phone
pretty
again.
simple.
I told you.
Get what you can get out of the sport. Get what you can get out of the sport, not what the sport can get out of you.
yeah, like for that scene from Players Club, make your money, don't let your money make you. And yeah,
Exactly.
respect Sid for that. I mean, she's a beautiful lady, amazing person. Like I said, I'll say one thing. She's still a young woman. She's been in the spotlight ever since she was on that episode of Survivor, and that's been like nearly 15 years ago. I mean, damn, that's been.
No, Survivor's 24 years ago.
Well, that episode she was on, that was like, what's 24 years
Oh,
ago?
I talking about the whole season. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, not the whole season. But yeah, it's good that she's stepping away, and and her and Andre has a great relationship. As you know, they share a coach now, and she's helping with opposing. And also, as you know, her Sid and Andrea they have the Triple O dynasty, and this that the Triple O is coming back, next year. And I'm going to post it. Yeah, shout out to them. This is really, as you know, as we all know, this is a division. This was a show that started because how women's bodybuilding got pushed out of the Arnold. Figure got pushed out of the Arnold. Physique got pushed out of the Arnold. I'm surprised. It's funny how you have the figure champion, the women's bodybuilding champion, and the fitness champion. I thought maybe you add fitness to it. It made sense to have fitness, but you don't have. Well, Sarah's doing her own thing. I understand that, but I'm a fan of
Empower
those.
women.
Yeah, I mean it's great what they're doing. They're giving the opportunities for women to have their own show.
Hey y'all, we are here at the Olympia 2024 and we have just secured our titles. Me for 8, Dre for 5, and you already know 3-time Fitness Olympia, Whitney Jones. The Triple O Dynasty, our show, will be happening again April 5th, 2025 in Mesa, Arizona. Woo-woo! What category are we going to have?
They are going to have women's bodybuilding and figure for approach figure.
Yep, and we also have men's NPC and women's NPC. Registration is open now. Head to our website, sign up, and we'd love to see you there. And our pros, our figure pros, we are already up to $9,000 for first prize. So come out, sign up, get ready to get those checks. So let's continue raising the money for women's bodybuilding as well.
Another epic one.
That's right.
Epic one, rolling out the big carpet. So get registered right away. Don't miss it. You know we do it big.
See y'all then. Bye.
Well, that's pretty good. And put up $9,000 for figure. I would say if I was Andrea, reach out to Jake and maybe add a few more thousands to women's bodybuilding, make it worth the while because, there's not too many shows outside of the Rise of Phoenix Olympia where there's a good, we have the Masters Olympia coming back next year. And I know last year was $10,000 because Rashana won that for women's bodybuilding. This is a good thing. I mean, this is a show close to the West.
It'll be more in 2025 because I've seen Hidetada because I'm qualified now. So it's like the men's and women's prize money will be more. That's what they said. And you got two people, Iris and Hidetada, that's promoting the Master Olympia. So you got two competitors, kind of like these women. Kind of like Sarah, who you understand as an athlete, money needs to be greater. It needs to be more because of the time and dedication, plus how much it's going to cost you to get over there. So to make it appealing, to an athlete who has to pay a $1,500 plane ticket to get to Tokyo on top of all your other expenses, I'm not gonna fly over there for 10 grand. I can tell you that right now. I'm not robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it's one of those things where I'm going over there. If the I think it's like 30 grand or 40,000 for men's bodybuilding master. So, If it makes dollars, it makes sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And I think that's what they're trying to do. And they're going to promote the show well. And they said, I think Devin Hester, who I've seen, who was the classic physique champion at one point in time or something like that, he's doing the show. But again, he said it's supposed to be an unbelievable production compared to the last Master Olympia. So that's super cool.
Well,
Yeah, it's good because you know what? What?
Oh, well, I think that.
What you say, Raheem?
No, I think that it's well, the money's going up. That's a good thing. Maybe they finding money somewhere to get the money up and everything. So that's a good thing. Having in Tokyo, I guess that's a good trip. I mean, hey, you want to go out there, see a different culture while you competing in the Masters. I think that's a good idea. It's worth the $1,500.
Yeah, and again, like the problem I have with these shows, it's like talking to Chris Mims when I did the Legion show was, they don't have women's bodybuilding. Arnold doesn't have women's bodybuilding, which kind of pisses you off as just an athlete in general, because how do you Legion Sports Festival, the Arnold Sports Festival, and you exclude certain categories, and like Chris looked at me and blatantly said when I was there, if somebody's willing to give me 20 grand, I'm willing to put women's bodybuilding into the show. So I hope that Andrea and Alex that were there, seeing that the production, because it was a great production that he put on, invest in that show, because I looked at them both and I said, hey, this is a great show for Wings of Strength to be at. It's a great show. So, hopefully, they can, and again, Jake, I know he's deep into this Olympia thing, but again, David said, I mean, you're not losing money at the Olympia when nosebleed seats $300. You're not losing money. On top of the expo, on top of everything else. And remember, Arnold just bumped up his money to $500,000, and Olympia is still only $400,000. So that should be interesting to see what happens. And again, I know everybody's gone, a few people are gone, but people say, well, Andrea, go back and do world championships. Well, why not? Why wouldn't you? Because from the mere fact that that's a $50,000 check. A $50,000 check. But winning the Olympia and the World Championship, that's $100,000. And so it's like Samson doing the France show before the Olympia. I think it was immediately $20,000 compared to the $400,000 he just won. But you're going to collect as much paper as you possibly can in the time that you have to collect that paper. I know I would.
She should do the Masters
for years. Huh?
She should do the Masters. She's over 40. She could try to do the Masters too.
Who?
Yeah, but you know what? They wouldn't want him to do it because they'd be saying Andrea. No, they wouldn't want him to do it because that'd be unfair.
I'm saying, does she qualify? I mean, because of her age, does she qualify?
Yeah, but
you have to win. You have to either put in an application for it, or you have to win a show over 40. That's the thing.
And she's not. If my wife's not going to do it, damn sure Andrea's not going to do it, because it's a thing where the people who do Masters, Raheem, do Masters because they're like, okay, I'm tired of competing in the Open. I'm just gonna stick to Masters. That's my lane. It'd be perfect show for Irene to do. I mean, and some of these women, even Helena for that matter. But for these girls who are still placing high in the Open division, there's no reason for them to do that show, because it's like when I did Team U in New York. And I didn't do USA's. Do you know how much fucking criticism I got because they thought Mr. Team Universe was easier than USA's? And that's when I was an amateur. So I can't imagine. And I think there's certain criteria that have to happen for you to be able to do Masters Olympia versus doing anything else. And that's just a waste of Andrea's time. I mean, why would she? That's.
Well, I'm just saying, if she had the mindset of LeBron James, she would do it. LeBron ain't
LeBron James.
No. I'm talking
about
the money and everything. If she about the bag, then yeah, she was like, yeah, I could do it. I'll do it.
Again, she doesn't want to do it because she's already the vice. She was rising champion. She's the current Miss Olympia champion.
Here's the thing, Raheem.
You show you already qualified.
Now,
why would I do a Masters class when I'm the best in the world?
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. I said if you had a LeBron James type of female bodybuilder, that person, even if they won the Miss Olympia, because it's about the money for them, they'll be like, yeah, I'm willing to go to Tokyo and do that, because they'll be like, okay, I meet the criteria. I'm 41, 42. So I'm saying because some athletes will, let's just keep 100. There are some athletes who are greedy. They won't give two shits.
No, I mean, here's the thing, and I disagree with you there. Caitlin Clark was offered a shit ton of money by Ice Cube to play in that 3-on-3 league and also be able to play in WA, NBA at the same time. She's like, no, I'm a WNBA basketball player. I am not a three. And I think I forgot their money. It was ridiculous kind of money that Ice Cube was offering Caitlin Clark to go play it. Huh? $5 million, wasn't it?
It was $5 million.
Yeah, and Caitlin Clark's like, no, that's not what I want to do. When you're making a comparison to LeBron's not going to downgrade. His ass is always upgrading. Second, LeBron's not going to downgrade. If he's making, I don't know, max contract $293 million or some crazy shit, or $315 million, he ain't downgrading. For athletes like my wife says, when I feel that I can't compete in the open class anymore, I'll make that move. But until then, I'm staying in the open class because we understand that she hasn't even reached her max potential in the open class. So that's why she won't do it. Because it's easy for her. Like if Tina went and did a master show, she would win. She qualified for the Master Olympia, she's in. That's easy. But again, she doesn't feel like she's reached her max potential in the open class, so that's why she's not doing it.
Yeah. We have comments here. We have comments here from my man, Warrior 2000. He says, love Sid, love Andrea, love Whitney. Natalia is cool too. Also, he says, I can't wait. I can't freaking wait for the Triple O Dynasty. I can't wait for it either. Also, he says, it's a man that says, good luck to the second winner of the Triple O Dynasty. Wish you best of luck wherever they are. And also says, I appreciate what they've done for the sport, setting up this competition event for the ladies. And Warrior says, he got a lot here. He says, C-Bum is a megastar and will still be in retirement because he's the most popular IB athlete ever, with more followers than Kai Green, Dylan Bailey, Heidi, Derek.
Absolutely.
And also, Yeshire. And he says, C-Bum popularity is among fans is phenomenally large. And he's going to say one more. He says, all right, guys, heading out. See y'all. Appreciate it, brother. And, see you around.
Is C-Bum like a bodybuilder or is he physique?
Classic physique.
Classic physique.
Now, I'm sorry to go off track, but who won the Miss Olympia?
That was Samson Duo.
He's a new champion.
Yeah, he's a brother from the UK. Because
he's Nigerian, but he lives in the UK.
Yeah, and I think he was third last year.
Yep,
third last year, and
third
then
last year, and fourth the year before that.
Yeah, he was busy. I mean, he did a bunch of shows after that, and he even got a car in one show, wasn't it?
But I'm telling you right now, that's going to be the next That's going to be the next Ronnie Coleman of our sport. When it comes to titles, be won, because the dude has so much. I mean, he's young too. He's not even 30 yet, so he has so much potential. Sid was. I think she's 29. So. When you're a guy like that and you're not even hit your, max potential, it's crazy. And he's making all the right moves. He has the right, foundation around him with his wife and his team of people. That this dude he's the future of our sport, hands down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was very, here's this with his wife right there, this lady in the pink. She was the one helping him with his training and everything else, and. Now he's the big star. I mean, it's a thing when you get that title, especially it's the biggest title in all of bodybuilding. Everybody respects and loves you. There's looks like there's a big Ronnie right there. It's not. No, that's not big Ronnie.
That's Puad. That's a sponsor from Hostile.
Oh, okay. I know Rami. He had to drop out because of some issues. I think last year, Rami wasn't even
you gotta understand. I mean, this shit is hard on our bodies. There was 5 guys this year who dropped out of the Olympia who qualified. 5 because of health reasons. They just, Nick Walker, Tone Burton, who else was it? Kendrick from the men's physique division. These guys just said their bodies were just maxed out. I mean, you gotta understand when you're doing this. Like Samson's been in sport, I think 4 or 5 years. most of those guys the other guys that I mentioned, I know Tone Burns have been on it maybe 3 or 4 years, but most of these guys have been competing for like 12 plus years. That's a lot on people's body when it comes. And shit, I know after this last show I did, I was just mentally and physically tired. And so I had to take a step back, even though I want to do this show this weekend coming up. Me and my coach just made the decision that it was just too hard on my body and that we're just going to regroup and reset and do something different. So, people have to understand this shit is grueling on your body. We're still trying to make a decision what show Tina's going to do. We're thinking about Triple O because it's early show in the season. But we still haven't, that's up to her. That's up to Melanie to make that decision what she does next. But we're looking forward to her getting on stage because, what I've seen in 4.5 months, what Melanie did to Tina, I can't wait for her to have her for a whole year to see where she winds up at because I will make this assessment. Whatever she does, she will end up on the Olympia stage this year for sure. I know that for sure. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I think Triple O will be good, or Atlanta, Chicago, Tampa. I know she'll want to go across the other side of the world, but those shows are options, and maybe hoping they do add women's
No,
bodybuilding
we're
to the
doing what
region.
you said. We're either gonna do Chicago or Tampa together. So, and that's a show that you're gonna have to suck it up and either get on the train or get on the plane because your ass is gonna be there.
Okay. I'll take the invitation. So, folks, we like to thank everybody was here. Shout out to Lori. Shout out to David. I hope everything go right with him. Shout out to all the other folks that were here, Raheem and also Jeremy. Shout out my big brother here. Shout out to Warrior Stefan, KL, everybody who watched this, commented. Shout out to all amazing competitors that competed at the Olympia. Great show in the world. Enjoyed watching it. Expensive, yes, it's a expensive live stream, but sometimes it's worth it. I could have been maybe going to the trip in my car, but yeah. But thank y'all for coming through, listening to us, sharing our stories. Like I said, Andrea, she just came in the best condition in the world, and she's undeniable. I'm going to say this: she's undeniable. She's like Mike Tyson, like undefeated, undeniable. But I wish her all the best. Can't wait to see what she's going to bring next year. Like I said, I'm a fan of this lady, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to change something a little bit. I know I have my 2000 cover because that's the cover I use because I get 2,000 subscribers, but I'm going to end it out here with the champ. She is just a stellar competitor. Much respect for her passion, her determination, her just what she brings to the sport. Bodybuilding really need women like her. And we're gonna miss Sid Gillen for what she's put in. We're gonna miss, just also Chris Sebum. I don't, but really, women like that, like Andrea. Can't forget the great Linda Murray, Iris Kyle. Those women really truly put this sport on the map, gave it a life, and really, like I said, I am a fan of these women. That's why I talk about them. They need to talk, need to be mentioned, because no one ever gives them their just desserts. Hope in the future we do see her do well. So I'm going to end it out with these ladies here, and I would say, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna end it out here with Andrea, just amazing lady, and just give a shout out here. So folks, appreciate y'all for coming through. Thank you for your support on my content and on this channel, and well, let's hope for the best. So anyway, folks, it's your man always Joe Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a good evening, good night, and good luck.